One and two.
Style and Shape, high standards are on us. All services are provided by certified professionals that are passionate about their trade at a price point that is affordable for everyone. With its man cave atmosphere, live sports, pool tables, 70-inch television, and antique bar chairs, Style and Shave has it all when it comes to your grooming needs. Give them a follow at Style and Shave. Jordan will put the little thing right here and mention Perfect Strangers Podcast for $5 off any service. Thank you, guys. JPA Media Solutions is the power behind the entire Perfect Strangers podcast. Jordan has since taken his talents and started his own company. Again, like I said, JPA Media Solutions. He's doing photography, videography, web marketing, and social media managing. You can email him at jordan@jpamediasolutions.com. Again, he's taking care of all of our stuff for the Perfect Strangers podcast. He's also got to work on a couple cool projects recently in the entertainment industry. He's a true professional. I know I give him a lot of stuff because he's my cousin. I love him very much. But, he's doing all of our media stuff for the Perfect Strangers podcast. If you guys have any media needs, you need a short little video made. He made an awesome one for our company, Albie Delivers. He's a true talent. So use him, JPA Media Solutions. Thank you. Hello, welcome to episode 15 of the Perfect Strangers podcast. We've made a lot of good progress. Thank you to our fans, our followers. We got one of them here today. This is a true brother for me. I met him when we were 7 years old playing tackle football for the Warriors. He was our quarterback. He was our leader, and someone that, he was really one of the first individuals, like as a kid, that was like a captain with me. You know what I mean? So we kind of got to lead our little football teams together, won a Super Bowl together in 2007. Blake Green, if you gave him a fake 24 power QB keeper, he was gone down the sidelines every time. Had the little customized cleats. I remember he had the black ones and the white ones. Those were smooth, man. But I appreciate you coming on. Blake today is currently an entrepreneur. He's an investor. He's a networker. We're going to get to learn about all the amazing things that he's got going on. Truly, I think a story of someone that got tired of being average, right? And wanted to change your lifestyle, even a lifestyle that you grew up in, and wanted to make something better yourself and follow that entrepreneurial spirit. And it's extremely impressive on what you're doing. We just talked for about an hour about what you are doing. It's something that I'm extremely interested in. I'm hoping that I can get closer to you even on some of your business endeavors here. But like we ask everyone on this podcast, we got Big Blake Green in the house. What's your elevator pitch? Who's Blake Green?
Yeah, man, it's funny reading or listening rather to all the other guests, and I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's been on this podcast because I know Noah's somebody that has tremendous value ever since we were younger. Just like you said, it's always certain people you kind of connect with on a deeper level of thinking, and it's weird because as a kid you're not really aware of that yet. Yeah. But I felt like you always had that awareness, bro. So I appreciate you having on me first and foremost, being here. And it's crazy, bro. Just like I showed you the picture, walking down my stairs. I see this guy every single day when I wake up. I walk down my stairs, I see you, Coach Alvarez, and some of the team, man. But who is Blake Green, man? There's been so many guests on here, and thinking about what they said. I was like, how should I word who is Blake Green? That's a great question, man. But, I feel like I'm just somebody that, wants to move with love no matter what I do. We could put the titles as far as networker, investor, whatever. But honestly, bro, I just want to be able to leave an impact on other people some way, shape, or form and, help elevate them, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is. And, I've been kind of living by something called the law of compensation. And what it says is, whatever you help somebody else get, you're naturally going to get in return by default, just because you help somebody else get it first. So I've been more so focused on kind of helping other people, position other people. So, once that kind of happens, obviously, we'll get something in return for sure. But it's been a lot more fruitful living a life of giving rather than just looking to take. So I would say Blake Green is just somebody that wants to push love, bro, and, put this impact and love over royalty, what I mean? Loyalty over royalty, and just find, new people some opportunities to make money in this, new generation, new era. We're really in a digital space. So it's kind of crazy to see, the way it's going. So, man, I would just say a person that's trying to move with some love, man.
I love that. That's beautiful. I think you're definitely executing there. Explain to me a little bit your path onto following what you currently do today, right? Explain to everyone, what you were doing, even when you made the decision to kind of switch over in terms of the kids and stuff.
For sure. So like going back, having a sports background, it was kind of crazy because like playing football for so long, I've always been somebody where it's like, I'm focused on one goal, and because of so many injuries, 3 surgeries, and after all that kind of happened, I transitioned into being a regular student, getting a job, and kind of living the college, broke kid life that most people think is acceptable. And I'm not saying it's not, but because we fall into that, we start to think it's okay just because of the people we're around. But deep down, like you said, it's always been stuff like, what can I do? Yeah. And for me, it wasn't so much about the money, but it was more so, how can I pursue happiness for myself? Everybody's definition of happiness is different. Everybody's definition of success is different. So I actually got introduced to something called foreign exchange, dealing with currencies and cryptos, and even a little bit of network marketing, which I was kind of, I don't know if that's something I want to do. Sure. But as far as currencies, if you guys have ever left the country before, you guys have participated in this market, because we are exchanging currencies. You could go give $1,000 US, go into Europe or Japan or Mexico, or whatever the case might be. And those currencies that you're going to get back in return, they can be different. So you could potentially make a profit on currency exchange, but we do that digitally. We deal with cryptos, and really it's it's about the education and showing people a different way, because most people are so used to getting, money based on their time, you know what I mean? But the thing about it for me that really transitioned me into, because before this I worked with kindergartners, so I was making, 12, 15 hour, bro, just taking my 18 units of school, kind of just going through, the motion of life and trying to find out what it was for me that was going to take me to the next level. And for me, it's like, one of the things I thought about was this, and, as human beings, our desires continuously grow every single day. But for most people, they're getting that same paycheck every 2 weeks. So for me, I was like, if that's the case for me, am I ever going to get to those goals? Am I ever going to get the house that I want to? Am I ever going to retire my parents? Like, are those goals actually attainable? But once I got in a space where it's like, dealing with investment, a lot of people are getting scared or nervous, but it's like, you don't get rich by saving. You know what I mean? You're going to get rich by investing and taking risks sometimes. You take it out, it's okay. You know what I mean? But the thing about it was, I said, if I have a skill set where I can continuously put in my effort day to day, I can start to see, something increasing. You know what I mean? Like I said, you gotta chase the information. You gotta chase the value and the information first before you start chasing the money. But so many people want the money before they actually get some education and start learning about what they're doing. But, with that being said, bro, it's crazy, because going from working with kindergartners and then doing this, it was special because, like, being previously an athlete, I prided myself on a work ethic. I said I could get in the weight room, I could go work, I could stay after, whatever it is, and it was something I'd show on the field. But when it got to work, it was like, didn't matter how hard I was working. It didn't matter if I stayed a little longer. I couldn't even work overtime. Like, they didn't have that. They didn't offer it. So it's like, I was really stuck in that position. So I really just got upset. Like, I'm obsessed with the growth, you know what I mean, in some way, shape, or form. So I saw this as a space that I could grow in, develop, and there's a lot of ways that we can use this as a vehicle to go to the next place. It's like, I have a lot of other ideas. I have like so many things written down in my notes of things that I want to do and start and create, but it's really getting that first, level of capital to kind of branch out, you know what I mean? So that's been the journey that I've been on for 2 years, but I'm extremely thankful, bro. And getting started with it it's been a blessing. And it's really, the thing that I'll kind of finish off that little, topic on is relationships. So many people are so stuck with their same friend group, their same family members. And for me, like, it was cool, and I was such a to myself person, but once I started understanding that strangers have something that I could potentially need, I was obsessed with
perfect strangers,
bro. And that's why I love the title, bro. Like, every stranger, I don't know who's going to be my best friend, bro. Who's going to be my best friend? Who can potentially change my life? And who can I potentially change their life? You know what I mean? You can't only take in this world. You got to look to give, and as you're giving, you're going to get some things in return too. So it's been a blessing, bro. Relationships is really the new currency these days. And I'm just in love with the friendships, in love with the people, bro. So hopefully that was kind of on cue with the question.
Absolutely, 100%. You nailed it. The first thing you said, I think when I just asked you what you were doing, the first thing you said was you're trying to retire your parents. Explain to me your parents, who I love. Man, I Mr. and Mrs. Green, just great, like, team parents, right? Explain to me, introduce your parents a little bit, and why that means so much to you to be able to retire them.
For sure, man. I mean, I come from a family where, they don't have degrees. They've never had a college degree, and they always, super big on me getting mine, just because a lot of time we hear about, get a degree, get a good job, do X, Y, and Z. And, they were so big on that. But with my parents, they were never entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? They never had their own businesses. Maybe one wasn't as successful as we would have liked. And I was kind of just seeing how hard they were working with bare minimum return. You know what I mean? We've been broke before, we lost the houses before, we've gone through the motions, and seeing that, I was like, what can I do to shift that? You know what I mean? Because me working with kindergartners at Sunshine, shout out Sunshine, love you guys. But for me to, there's so many great people over there, bro. But for me to work there, that wasn't going to retire my family. You know what I mean? So seeing their grind and their work ethic was, it was tough, man, because I see, what financially, I don't want to say being poor, but having financial problems causes family issues. It causes friendship issues. It causes issues that don't need to happen, right? Just because of money situation, you know what I mean? So it's like, I want to be able to just really set them free. And I've been fortunate enough to not clock in for about 2.5 years and travel and meet new people and invest and let my money work for itself. And it's cool. It works for me. I'm financially free, but now it's like, how can I get them to experience what I'm feeling? Because like, I love that I get to go where God pulls me to. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to come here. I don't need to be here, but it was a sign, bro. You reached out. I was like, bro, that's God, man. I see Noah every single day when I wake up. He doesn't even know it. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's so amazing that we got here. So I'm really just, passionate about my family, my friends, and honestly, strangers, bro. Because everybody's life is super important, bro. And, there's a lot of things we can accomplish. And, if we have the right information, there's enough space for everybody to win. But it really just became about my family first. And that's what drives me every day. Man, I love them to death, bro. I could go super in depth with that question. It's that love we have for our family. And just seeing the struggle over time, bro, it's tough, bro. And I couldn't watch that anymore. Couldn't watch it anymore. So as soon as I got this, I said, it's time to get to work, bro.
That's beautiful. Last question before we get into the 15. What's the impact that sports had and the utilization of the things that you learned through sports that you apply now?
For sure. So, I mean, this motto's been going ever since Pee Wee year football, but it's never give up, man. And it's crazy because sports, I'm not going to get into the life story too much, but so many surgeries, having so much promise in a sport to, getting hurt, coming back, getting hurt, coming back, take a year off, get healthy, getting hurt, coming back, and then getting hurt again. Like, that took a toll for me to keep on coming back. But I feel like with things that I deal with in business, it's not always going to be a great week. It's not always going to be a great month. But the way I see it is, like, for football, my injuries were the worst thing that happened to me, but they're the best thing that happened to me, because it taught me how to have that grit and have that determination to get over whatever hump or whatever, bad thing might be happening. So I feel like the injuries and all the hard times and even just the late practices and consistent grind, like, it's funny because we were talking about PIPs, right? We're talking about a little bit of the measurement in the market, but that stands for pays and patience. So it's like, you got to be patient, be able to have that slow grind and really run that marathon, bro. But yeah, man, I just got off topic. Sports. Yeah, I was like, hold on, what are we talking about, man? We start talking about these things. But sports definitely, it showed me the grit and the will that I needed to have to be successful. I would say put in the day-to-day grind. Because a lot of people, especially in business, and I would say in our era, we live in a place of comparison, our generation kind of, and that comparison, what people put on social media or Instagram, they live, I can't do that. Oh, they're doing this, I'm not doing that. So it's like living in that comparison is tough. But being from a sports background, you don't only just see the championships, you understand the day-to-day grind. So I feel like with sports, it was definitely the day in and day out grind that built me for entrepreneurship and just to have that belief and faith in myself too. But God before anybody, man.
That's beautiful. That's Blake Green. That was a heck of an intro. I appreciate you, man. So we're going to get into the 15 questions. Question number 1, what motivates you?
Man, family. And I would say understanding that there's really no limits. There's really no top. A lot of people think working they're going to get to the top of something. And one thing my mentors really started instilling in me, because I've asked them questions, people that's made, and it's never about the money. So like anytime I talk about money, it's just the way that they're using that as a tool. Sure. But people that have made 7 figures or 8 figures in that matter, I'm like, what's it like? What do you feel right now? What do you feel in comparison to what I'm feeling coming to that point? You know what I mean? And one thing that, they always said was, there's really no top. Like, I might be, doing a lot of great things and might be above a lot of people financially, but there's so many other levels that people are on that they're not on yet. So, just the continuous inspiration between who I was, excuse me, last week or the month before to who I can be tomorrow. So really just using that, my mistakes. And real quick, I think one of the questions might be, your favorite quote, but I might get to it a little bit early. But there's a quote that really just inspired me. And, this quote, I'm going to read it real quick. But it says, I've lost way more than I ever won, and I've won way more than I ever lost. You could lose 1,000 times and win once, and people would still consider you a winner. My losses are more frequent, but my wins are more abundant. Mainly I'm a winner, but mainly because I've lost. So I feel like the losses that's coming day in and day out are things that keep me going, because I understand sometimes to get a W, you got to take 2 L's. Yeah. So I feel like the motivation is just really learning and finding ways to grow through what some would consider a loss and just, turn it to a lesson and eventually a blessing, bro. So just learning from the growth, man.
That's great. You must be a speaker. Question 2, how did you start your career?
I got introduced, and I know we're talking about networking a little bit, but it was actually a friend, and it's crazy, bro. The friend that introduced me, we kind of rubbed shoulders one day at the college campus, College of the Canyon. So shout out to COC, shout out to the Cougars. Yeah. Rubbed shoulders with her, and she actually started doing this and started investing and getting involved. And for me, I don't want to have to be a person that says, oh, I got to see it to believe it. There's a lot of people that wait to see it to believe it. A lot of people get to a certain place and they're already behind. But for me, it took about 2 weeks, and I'm very much so a stats and facts person. A lot of people talk a good game, especially when it comes to networking. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a lot of great speakers, a lot of great hype and energy. But for me, I was like, bro, what's the stats and what's the facts? Yeah. That's all I need to hear. Yeah. And as I started getting educated, that's something that, kickstarted me while I was in school. At College of Canyons, my teachers used to be mad at me. I'd always be on my phone, looking at the charts, looking at certain trades I could get into and finding ways to multiply the money. So I would say it started right there at College of the Canyons, and slowly but surely it's just started branching out and something that's turned into a global based business. So it's amazing to see, how it kind of took place and how it started off of a friend that it was literally, we're in a lunch line, bro, and we just had a quick conversation. I was like, like, what's your number? Like, what do you do? You know what I mean? It slowly just started transitioning to a friendship. And then 3 years later, she started that. So that's how I met that connect. But it's just weird, bro, because God calls you in certain ways that, I don't know. Sometimes I'll get signs. I'm like, I feel like I need to talk to this person. I don't know why, but I'll be discouraged or disappointed if I don't. Yeah. They could say, say something, or we could never talk again. But as long as maybe I made a friend or made a connection, that's something I could live with. Yeah. And it's crazy how one thing kind of led to another, to, not working, to investing, to looking to retire, my family in the next, I'll say 6 to 8 months, bro. That's confidently. And it's a blessing.
That's beautiful. What challenges have you faced, or what's one experience that has made you who you are today?
Man, I always bring up football, bro. And I feel like, honestly, just the losses, because I've seen so much success in certain areas. Yeah. Whether it's sports or school, but, the things that I've gone through, like, at the end of the day, like, I was great at sports or did okay at sports, but, like, I'm not doing anything with it now. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was great in the classroom, but, like, I don't use my degree to make an income right now. So there's a lot of things that I did that I had success in. I feel like what made me today was definitely those things, but really getting in the right vehicle. You know what I mean? And I feel like once I got in the right vehicle, I used those as tools to, once I did get in the right vehicle, especially entrepreneurship, I really used those experiences and those relationships and just the things that I've gone through. And I always bring up the losses, bro, the lessons, you know what I mean? Because those are really what's, kind of shaped my future. And I just try to find that value in that.
Using the side of your career right now that's teaching, right? You talked a lot about your team. Explain that a little bit on what you do, and how you tell your team to deal with the losses.
For sure. Yeah, man. So right now I do have a business of it's probably about 15 or 1,600 people, and these are individuals that are wanting to learn about investing. They're getting educated and getting a part of the platform or they get access to, cryptos and binary options, and stocks, a lot of different ways to invest. But, with investing, anytime we're talking about investing, that means risk means potential loss. When it comes down to, keeping people kind of involved, I feel like it has to do with the end game. You know what I mean? A lot of people are, they might see the light at the end of the tunnel at first, but as soon as one problem happens, they stop thinking about, but I started because of this. So anytime I personally work with people or they want mentorship in this space, I typically have them write down 5 reasons why they're starting and 5 goals that they have for themselves throughout the next 18 months. You know what I mean? So I want to have them more so on the long-term game, because especially with entrepreneurship, it's not something that will, happen overnight. Trading and investing. I mean, you hear some crazy stories, but, cryptocurrency people making, money. Oh, they only invested 1,000, made X amount, right? People hear that. But it's not like that for everybody. Right. You know what I mean? That's not the average story for every person. So I feel like keeping the end picture, involved in the front of your head at all times. And I always I'm very big on what power of words. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get too spiritual, but it's like, if we're going back to like the Bible and the story of creation, like we talk about, or we read how it says, you know, God said, let there be light, and it was done. You know what I mean? So it's like God said, and it was done. So it's like whatever I say or whatever we're going to say, it's like we got to have certain statements where it's like, I said that and it's going to be done. I'm so happy and grateful. I made 8 figures. I haven't, but it's done. You know what I mean? It's going to happen because that's the way God creates. It's going to come into formation. So I feel like it's the journey to success, like I said, is different for everybody, but I feel like it's definitely it's a mind game, but it's one with your words. So I would say I'm very big on what we're speaking into existence.
You're killing it, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
Blake's going to have his own podcast too. What's it going to be called?
Green Light Club.
There you go. I love that. Yeah, that's great.
Appreciate you, man.
Number 4, what do you value most?
Relationships. This is it's an easy question, bro, because I got so comfortable with, after I stopped playing football, after I stopped playing football, I had the same friends, which was totally fine. But if all my friends are playing football and I'm not playing football, I just kind of like, not that I'm the odd man out, but you guys playing football can't add value to my life to get to the next level. So I had to kind of be aware of my surroundings, you know, what I was doing. But I would say the relationships from strangers is what really, really, really taught me that there's other people out there that have something that I need, and I needed to be humble enough to take in that information. Even if it's something I won't use, I'll put it in my back pocket. Maybe I'll need it later. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? So really just being open and humble to the relationships coming in and out of my life. I don't care what you look like, where you're from. You could be old, you could be young. I know individuals that's 15 that's going crazy in this space. And it's like, what did you do? Like, I'm 24, but I'm definitely willing to take advice from whoever it is that might have success or something that could potentially help me and my family. So I would say relationships is definitely, you know, the number one currency for me, bro.
That's great. What's the best piece of advice that you've been given and the worst?
It's funny, bro. I listened to Trent's answer, the second one. He's like, man, I don't remember. I forgot. Like, I don't listen. Best piece of advice, man. Sheesh. Best piece of advice. I mean, I gotta give it to Coach Alvarez, man. I literally, bro, because it's crazy because it's literally been instilled ever since that first year of football of never giving up. Whatever it is, there's gonna be tough times. You can't give up. You might be having financial hardships. Don't give up. You might be having health hardships. Don't give up. You know what I mean? There's certain things that we got to get done, and we cannot give up, and we can't just roll over and flop. You know what I mean? So I feel like, honestly, never giving up is one of the most important things I ever learned, bro. And shout out to the Alvarez family, man.
There you go.
It literally, you know, makes me feel with joy inside when I think about those beginnings that we all had together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the worst piece?
Worst piece. Sheesh. Stranger danger. You guys ever heard of that? Right? It's funny because we're talking about relationships, and this literally just came to my head. I wasn't thinking about coming in and talking about this, but look, think about it, man. Because if we're younger and we're constantly hearing, oh, don't talk to strangers. Oh, don't talk to some stranger. Like, we hear that growing up so much. I get it. You know, the world we live in, it's crazy. But because we've been instilled with that mindset, that's what causes people to be in their cliques and not talk to people. Or it's weird socializing or networking. And, you know, I feel like the worst piece of advice was don't talk to strangers. I feel like that's the worst piece of advice that I ever got, bro. Yeah, so I would say that for sure, bro.
And maybe when you have a daughter, it might change a little bit.
No, for sure. Yeah, no strangers.
I want to go back real quick to the you know, you've talked about relationships a lot, and even, you know, in terms of your last answer there. Are you single? I don't want to put you on blast. Okay, you're single. Do you feel like you're single right now because of like work and like you're so focused and grinding? But what like I want to know your perception on like relationships as like having a significant other while you're trying to grind, like how you're trying to do.
Yeah, man. I think relationships are great if there's common goals, and for me, like if I'm ever looking for somebody, we have to connect on a deeper level than just, oh, you're attractive. You know what I mean? We gotta connect from a mental standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint. Really understand what we want for each other. And I feel like you can't really have a relationship with somebody if you're not okay by yourself. You're not strong enough by yourself. You're not getting things done by yourself. So for me, I'm just very big on the energy, bro, because I mean, obviously there's so many people in this world that we come across that could potentially be the one. You know what I mean? You never know. But I feel like, you know, whatever it is that's organic, I feel like relationships can help you get to the next level, bro. Because there's a lot of people, especially men. Shout out to my guys, man. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of men that focus on the wrong things. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, being kings and queens, we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard and really make sure that these relationships, we're getting to know each other, we're communicating. You know what I mean? So I feel like communication is very big. And a lot of the time people don't get the energy they want in return because they're scared to put it out themselves first. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what kind of holds back certain relationships or friendships. And I feel like being myself and you being yourself, you know, it's brought you to your significant other. And I feel like that energy is something that, you know, sometimes people lack, but it's just the comfort of being in your own skin to find that relationship that can be for you. And it's not the work that's holding me back, because we make time for the things that we love. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So I wouldn't say it's the work, but if you're with somebody that respects what you're doing and understands the end goal, then we're going to make it work. So I feel like it could definitely bring, you know, benefits, but just gotta have that vision, that communication, and I'm all about the spiritual side too, bro.
That's great. What has been your most exciting project or role? It doesn't even have to be in work. It can be anything.
Yeah. I would say, bro, honestly, I'm looking to impact over 5,000 people and help them, you know, become, you know, I could say financially free, or, you know, do these different things. There's a lot of people that's retired in the business that I'm in, and people that I've helped, but I would say just the most interesting thing, bro, it's crazy, because like scoring touchdowns with people is always so fun, or, you know, being in the end zone and being with the team or practicing and team stuff like that. But I feel like I've had the most fun helping people achieve things that they never, you know, thought was possible for themselves. Like people quitting their jobs, like, yo, bro, I just quit, bro. I just walked out, and they're so happy because they never really thought it was possible. So the project of impacting 5,000 people and the project of believing in other people before they believe in themselves. I feel like that's an ongoing project that I'm consistently a part of. But yeah, bro, the impact of 5,000 people. And I have to ask you, just being a you know, entrepreneur and being in this space too, is I've always watched you just on social media and looked up to the moves you're making. What project wise, what do you feel like for you?
For me, it's been Alvi Delivers, right? Just the transportation company. I think for me, I've been able to expand upon like my entrepreneurial like spirit, like this is that, right? Like the decisions that we get to make, the mistakes I get to make, are truly like mine, right? And I think my dad, I have to shout him out too for this, because he did not baby me through this at all. Like he did not hold my hand through it at all. Like he really was like, hey, if you have a question and you come to a crossroads, I'll be here for you, but I'm not even going to give you the answer. I'll give you advice, but you make your own decision. I'm extremely thankful for him, because it would have been very easy for him to just insert his power, say, oh, I want equity in the company, right? And do all that, because, you know, I've been blessed to be in a position to have a powerful father in business as well. But he didn't do that with me, right? He took the route of me being able to figure it out by myself. So I definitely have to say Alvi Delivers is definitely the thing that I take the most pride in, because like I truly feel like it's like my baby. But I'll have to say too, like one of the things, like while I was in school and getting my real estate license, I just felt that was something, like I feel like every older person I was talking to, they're like, I wish I had my real estate license, because obviously you're 50 years old, you know all these people, and it's like it seems like one of those easy things to connect with people on. And I think, you know, when I was in school, my mindset was like, well, just make it an extra class, right? Because today I would never go back and get my real estate license. So I think it's something good for, you know, if people end up watching this, like, you know, try to put yourself in position when you have the time, or when you think that it's going to fit into like your life balance at that particular time, like go after it at that moment, right? Because truly, like it's in phases. Like I would truly never be able to go back right now and get my real estate license. So I'm very glad I did it. If I don't ever sell another home again, I can say like I have the option to do so, right?
All about those options, bro.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Exactly.
Shout out Alvi Delivers, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And then so you kind of answered it a little bit, but what's the best like single experience you've had in your current role? Like it can be the one individual, and I want to hear their story or something like that you helped touch.
I mean, I cried on this day. I'm not gonna lie to you, and it's crazy because it happened a couple months ago, but I would say, you know, helping somebody build a 6-figure business, and you know, this is an individual from Hamilton, New Zealand. She moved out here from New Zealand, and you know, she played basketball on scholarship at Utah. I think it was Utah State, maybe Utah Valley, something like that. But she came into my life, and it's crazy, bro, because it's perfect strangers, man. Literally, and I see it every single day, you know, especially with just what I do. But I would say helping her build a business of over 500 individuals, and seeing her build a 6-figure business and seeing her impact, like I know what my vision is, but seeing that instilled into somebody else and take it even harder has been the biggest blessing, and seeing her accomplish those things, bro, because there's so many people that, you know, play a part in each other's lives. And I know she came, and get this, like she came into my business after, right? And she ran it up financially more than I did, right? So seeing what she did, it's a blessing that she came into my business and did what she did, because now I'm able to learn from her. You know what I mean? Yo, what did you do a little bit different that maybe I was missing over here that helped you get there? So I would say that's probably been the best thing. And, you know, she became my best friend. She's like my sister. Cool. And just seeing that, she sacrificed so much coming from New Zealand. So like her family's out there. She's been out here for years, hasn't really seen them and hasn't really had the chance to. And then COVID's happening, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I would say seeing her during this lockdown, you know, go from working 2 jobs to creating a 6-figure business has been a biggest blessing. And knowing why she goes hard is, it just hit like I
that
get the
personal
chills, bro.
connection.
Like like just knowing the goals and what she did to really sacrifice that, bro. There'd be nights where she slept 1 hour, would go to work, get off, go to work, and then she'd come back and be helping people. But it all made sense, bro. She's retired and she's scaling this business to 7 figures. So I feel like seeing somebody work that from the ground up, bro, like I saw it happen every day, and it's like, bro, thank you, God. You know what I mean?
What do you think is the number one thing that allows you to not be complacent? Like when you see you're growing, right? We even talk some numbers. We don't need to get into it here, but like when you see yourself growing, like it's easy for even like a business in my perspective to say, oh, like this is comfortable, right? Like this is good. What keeps you from just continuously going?
For sure. It's all gonna revert back to relationships, man. And I noticed you had, you know, said you have certain meetings with people, even if that's 10 a.m. and you guys talk for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Just having that connection to get a little bit of some game from somebody that's maybe done a little bit more, had a little bit more experience or success. And I definitely keep my mentors very close, bro, because I could have one conversation with my mentor. Shout out to Brandon Thompson. This individual, he used to be an engineer for Boeing. And you know, he's somebody that was, you know, making 6 figures, had a 6-figure paying job, and did a lot of successful things. But he, you know, somebody now that's bringing about, like, I'm not supposed to income claim it all, but you know, a lot a month, a lot a month. And seeing that, like, I could have one conversation with him, and he's always going to be doing something that I can't do yet. Yeah, bro, I'm about to hop on my jet and da da da. And it's normal to him, but for me, something small like that goes so far, because I'm just like, bro, I'm inspired. Like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? So I feel like seeing that, you know, he's retired. His mom opened up a clothing label for his mom. They're in New York Fashion Week, doing a lot of different things. So I feel like, and that's one of a lot of people that I look up to, but he's in my favorites on my text. Like, I talked to him yesterday, and, you know, just having those conversations with people that have more and are doing more is what helps me step up my game and always just keeping that within reach.
That's great. What's the biggest misconception people make about you?
I would say we're in a business where, as investors, people think we're always about money. You know what I mean? Or as a network marketer, oh, he just wants to talk to me to grow his business. So I feel like that's a misconception, because I don't want to work with anybody or help anybody that doesn't want to be helped. You know what I mean? So that's not really my style. I'm never going to be like, oh, you need to be doing X, Y, and Z, if that's not what you want to do, because that's not something that's organic. You know what I mean? So I would say, you know, having these organic, you know, friendships and relationships is something that, you know, coincides with having a successful business. You know what I mean? But read that one more time, just so I'm not off.
The biggest misconception people make about you.
But I would say people think, you know, as a network marketer and as an investor, it's very much so business. But it's like, I want to build my business off of that love, bro. So I feel like I'm more so just trying to find an energy that's being reciprocated.
What is it about what you do today that allows you to make it organic and make it something that you feel good about?
Honestly, just the fact that I'm having success within myself. I understand it. I've always been a stats and facts person. So like I said, I'm not big on the, like, it sounds good. You know what I mean? But let me see the numbers. Let me see what I could potentially do. You know what I mean? Everybody's situation is different. So, you know, I would definitely say stats and facts is definitely key, but growing organic relationships, man, if you're not having success in the area that I'm in, you're never going to grow a business. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that try to fake it till they make it, right? And they don't quite get there. But I feel like, bro, the energy that we're putting out, like I said, social media is so powerful, but so many people are living a lie on social media. They're not willing to show their face. They're not willing to make videos. They're not willing to add value. And that's why it never really comes back. But I feel like growing organically, putting myself out there and putting out information on social media is something that's allowed people an avenue to come across me and say, hey, what is that? Can I get some more info? So I want to leave more of a space for people to reach out to me So when they're reaching out to me, I can kind of, okay, how can I help you? How could I maneuver this and see what it is that you want? You know what I mean? That's what I'm big on. So I just want to make sure that I'm leaving a space where people could get this info, see what's going on, and then I'm open anytime people want to have a conversation. I have like certain times throughout my day where, I'll schedule calls with people and just inform them on things. But I feel like having that power of social media and leveraging it, I seen my girl Ray, like I said, the individual from New Zealand, she built this almost 7-figure business from right here in Los Angeles, California, that's all the way across the world. So like seeing that power of social media, bro.
Believe with Blake. Explain that to me. Explain the
man, bro.
Instagram handle.
It all starts with belief, man. And it's crazy because the thing is, like, shout outs, I always got to give gratitude to people before me, but like, I seen them having conversations with me and having certain conversations where I'm like, bro, like they really believe in me. You know what I mean? Or it could be a football coach that's like, you could do X, bro, you could throw for that much. You could do whatever. It's like, damn, I think I could do that. So I would say having those individuals before me believe in me more than I believed in myself made me feel crazy. I was like, how do they believe in more in me than I believe in myself? And I feel like shout out to them because they did that. I was like, bro, I can't do this. You know what I mean? Because I always felt like we see things on social media, especially with like, oh, have you guys ever made money off your phone? Have you ever built a business off your, whatever, e-commerce site, whatever it might have been. And sometimes I would see people's success and I didn't always think it was possible for me. You know what I mean? And I feel like once I had that belief and I was getting these stats and facts, that's one thing that helped me take my step a lot further than if I didn't have them. And a lot of people try to do things by themselves. But getting around people that have already done what I'm trying to do and having these conversations, they can kind of see. It's almost like if you're talking to somebody that's never played football before and they hop on the field and you see their movements, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, you got it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what they started seeing with me. And then I was like, oh, shoot. Like, I started seeing more. I started getting some good feedback. The more I put myself out there and the more I put out my energy, that's more I got it back. So I would say, getting that belief from other people first. And the strangers, bro, is a perfect strangers.
That's
literally,
right.
I'm going to bring it up over
That's right. That's
so
right.
They really position me.
That's
bro.
right. What type of environment do you want to create / work? And this is an interesting one. And I'll have a follow-up question to just about like your balance on, because you're not going into like a traditional work environment, but what type of environment do you want to create / work like for your team? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, environment, bro, it's always got to be based on that love and that belief. Because I know you said believe with Blake and when I think of that, man, having a comfortable space where people want to learn and take advice from each other and being willing to be business partners, because so many people get involved with certain relationships, and it's I have mentees, if you want to say, people that I mentor, and that's other people that I go to and I actually converse with. Hey, what do you think about this? What's your ideas? Like run something past me so I could get my thoughts going too. But I want to create that environment for everybody so they don't feel like just a mentee. I want them to know they can bring value to the table too. And this isn't just like traditional workforce where it's like, oh, that's your boss, this is your manager, CEO, whatever. But I want everybody to know that we're all one and, nobody's different from one another. The only difference in this space is really just the time that people start. So I just want people to feel comfortable and know that their voice means something.
What do you mean by the last thing in terms of just the only difference is the time that when people start? You just mean like just simply like you doing it for 5 years while someone's doing it for 2?
Yeah, because I feel like, and this could definitely be applied to life, but sometimes we only go as far as our awareness level. You know what I mean? You can be super good at something, you could be the best whatever, but if you're not constantly being aware with how your surroundings are changing with certain people, you're always going to stay the same. So, I just want to always up people's awareness and make sure that they're in tune with, who they are. Because the thing is, like, sometimes, especially with what I do, like, a lot of people want to help other people scale a business so they get their own business to grow, which is cool. But sometimes you're never going to do that unless you help somebody find out who they are, find out what they want. You know what I mean? Before you start trying to help somebody build a business, let's help them first on an individual level. You know what I mean? On that family, that brother sister bond, where I could figure out what it is that you want, and then we can kind of take it from there. But I feel like like I said, it all reverts back to love and just making sure people feel comfortable in this space. And regardless of time, I want people that's coming in now to leverage. They can get somewhere that I've been a lot faster just because I did it first. You know what I mean? And if they're able to leverage that, they can go a lot further. And that's what I've been doing with my mentors. How can I use your mess ups and your mistakes to help me get a lot further than where you were at year 2? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's beautiful. And then in terms of your work environment now, it's primarily from home, right? It's from your phone. again, how do you stay motivated, right? Like, how do you wake up in the morning? Is there something that you do? I saw even today on social media, you work out. Like what's kind of like your day-to-day lifestyle that kind of keeps you going?
So man, it's crazy. I got to be structured, man. It's hard because the thing is, like, a lot of people come into entrepreneurship, you know, especially probably previously being employees, maybe. And there's two very key differences with employees and entrepreneurs. And it's like, as an employee, you get told what to do a lot, and that's okay. Come to work at this time. No, you can't get time off. Yo, your lunch is 30 minutes. Whatever it is, you're like, okay. And then you get into entrepreneurship. And especially like when I stopped working, I took entrepreneurship full time, was like, nobody's telling me anything. You know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, seeing that transition is, you know, something that was pretty crazy, just seeing how I needed to structure up my days. And I have time. And like, I personally, if I go to my calendar right now, there's going to be stuff from 3 a.m. to, ongoing all day. So it's pretty much all day, just a lot of stuff going on. Main things that I want to get done. And then also just, you know, having goals. So like, I got like pretty much things I want to do daily, and it's my screensaver. And it says, God, stretch, work out, get some sun, read the Bible, read a book, you know, read something, you know, on relationships. And, you know, obviously, you know, we got financial goals on there too, but that's the last one on there because that's the last one that's important. You know what I mean? So always being able to visibly see my goals, and being structured is something that's helped me as an entrepreneur, just going forward, bro. So really just staying structured. Shout out to sports. Like if I could go back to that question, I'd say sports taught me a lot about structure and being on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, like, bro, you just missed out the meeting of your life. You don't know. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. Next question. What's your opinion on work-life balance?
Work-life balance, man. I got some advice from an individual named David Eminitier. He's one of the top network marketers, entrepreneurs, whatever, you know, in the space that I'm in. And one of the things that he said,
locally, or this was
actually in Houston when I heard this. Actually, it might have been Atlanta, but it was on the East Coast. And one of the things he said was, you know, we gotta work, get paid. Work, get paid until it's work, get paid. Work, get paid. And then he said till it's work, get paid. And it's gonna get to a point where it's get paid. So right now, my life is work. You know what I mean? My life is building relationships. And that's why I like, as far as networking, bro, like I can build a business through the relationships and people that I meet and based on the information that I have. You know what I mean? So having something tangible that I could take anywhere, any place to anybody, is something that I feel like is amazing. But I feel like a work-life balance, I enjoy what I do for work. So I feel like it's not too much, you know, balancing to do. I enjoy hopping on the phone with people, finding ways to help them. So I feel like right now the work is something I love, and you know, the get paid. It happens, but you know, it's gonna come, you know, a lot heavier as the years start coming on.
And I think, and that's what it is, right? I think so many people. So there's a lot of people even that they'll look at me and say, "Man, you're working too much, right? Why are you on your phone so much? Like you're killing yourself, or you're doing too much." Like I enjoy it, and it's not just because of the dollars necessarily. It's because like back to football, like when me and you were captains, like I like to lead. Like I truly love the fact like people have to text me on information and like they're depending on me for an answer. Like that fulfills me. Like it's like that's my hobby. You know what I mean? Like one of my hobbies is like leading. So it just happens that I'm able to be in a position to do that at work. But like I think that's exactly what it is. Like because a lot of people would be like, oh, you know, like you're working too much. Enjoy your life while you're young and while you know have these experiences. Like part of my experience is like being able to lead. Like I'm doing things that I enjoy to do. I'm not miserable at all. I'm extremely happy. I'm fulfilled every day.
Amen.
But I think a lot of it is just like a misconception. If I'm going to ask myself the misconception question, right? I think that's what a lot of it is because I'm doing something that I love and I'm doing something that I care about. So I love that answer. Next question, define success.
Man, success is a moving target. You know what I mean? You could ask, you know, I would say right now, I'm successful, but still my definition of success is not where I'm at. But there's a day that I look back on that I wish I was in the position I'm in now. You know what I mean?
So I want to add, so Brock Vereen, we had him on the podcast earlier. And one of the quotes he said was, or his answer to that question was, if you stopped and looked at yourself, from 3 years before, you'd be so happy. There's a great chance you'd be so happy on where you're at. And I thought that was a very interesting point, right? Because you're going. You don't necessarily think about like, well, what would 20-year-old Noah like would I be proud of myself? The odds are we're doing much better. We're doing much more unless you fell into a hole. than what we ever expected. So I think it kind of goes head or in line with that.
Bro, I had a great answer too, man. Man. I would definitely say, we can't really get to where we want if we're not grateful for where we are. So I always just try to put that gratitude and be thankful before anything. So if I'm thankful for what I have now, the blessings can come, because there could be a time where you get what it is that you want, but if you're not grateful, like, the one thing that's worse than not having something is getting it and then losing it. You know what I mean? So I feel like having that gratitude first is, we always got to put the gratitude first. Anytime I start Zoom calls or any types of stuff like that with like business or whatever, man, what's going on, guys? Like, I'm just extremely thankful. I'll have people drop down below what you guys are thankful for. You know what I mean? So we kind of really put that gratitude first.
I love that.
I feel like that keeps me going.
I love that. That's I like I'm going to steal that one in terms of dropping it below. You've talked a lot about financial freedom, right? Or a lot of people throw that term out. What is financial freedom to you? Is it a lifestyle? Is it a certain amount of money? Are you trying to get to a certain level, or just what does that term?
Yeah, I mean, financial freedom to me, bro, is just having time and having money. You know what I mean? A lot of people think it's just the money part. But I'm very big on the time, you know what I mean? Because like, if I could generate some sort of income where I could do that from any place in the world, then I'm not restricted. You know what I mean? So I feel like financial freedom to me is, having time and having money, in which I am right now. I've got time. I've got some money in my pocket, can go do some stuff, whatever. But having that freedom is the number one thing for me. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes people get tied down, and like I said, it could be because of society, maybe what their families have done before, what they've been instilled with, but kind of put that pressure on. Always working, always doing whatever it might be that they go to. But I was like, how can I get my time back? You know what I mean? That's what could I do with my money to help me get my time back? And I feel like that freedom part, financial is cool, but that second word, freedom, is the very big part for me.
Yeah, you talk about freedom. I want to talk about your tattoos even a little bit, right? Like, what do some of these bigger ones mean to you?
Yeah, I got my mom on here. I do have the eye. A lot of people are like, oh, it's Illuminati. I always hear that. But honestly, like, really just like I said, awareness. Like, really always, just because you have your own perspective doesn't mean not to listen to somebody else. You know what I mean? Because I've been having, it could be an argument where you think, oh, I'm right. I had a problem, and I don't want to say a problem, but like, had some confusion with a business partner, and we ended up getting some lunch, kind of talking about some things, and I was just like, man, like, I'm glad I did that, because at first I was like, bro, I'm thinking you're crazy, like what's going on with you, and I just had to understand my perspective is not the only perspective. So I'm very big on the perspective and being able to take advice from other people. Like I said, no matter what, you could be a dude homeless on the street. I'm sure you're probably, whatever you say, I don't know, it could potentially help me. You know what I mean? Sure. It could be something deeper. But I do have a clock, and it has my birthday in it. So like for me, in my own head, like I look at this and I was like, it's my time. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I try to look at it. I do have FOE, that's for family over everything. I got a cross with some family and friends that actually passed away. Then I actually have a quote. And it's really a Bible verse, and it's funny because I got the verse down here. It's John 13:7, but it's actually tatted up here. But it states, Jesus replied, "You do not understand now what I'm doing, but later you'll understand." So like anytime I'm seeing that, like it always brings me to light of my situation, and what I have right now. It's constantly going to be changing. I just got to understand and trust the process of what comes, and just keep on shifting, man. Yeah, for sure. You got any tattoos?
I do.
Well,
mostly from my mom. I got one on my chest.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a couple, mostly for my family. I have my last name on my back.
That back one hurt, huh?
All the way. Oh, I went down the spine.
Ooh.
I didn't go across. So yeah, the middle part right there was tough for sure. Yeah. How do you want people to think of you / remember you?
Man, I just love, man. Love it. And it's crazy because I actually have another one up here too I forgot about, but it says love is the answer. So it's like no matter what, man, like I said, with business, we hear the misconceptions, at least I do. Oh, it's just money. Oh, it's just business. But at the end of the day, I just want to be that person that was willing to give the shirt off my back for whoever. Even if it's inconvenient for me sometimes, I'm still just like, I'll find a way to do it. For that. Not because I'm expecting anything in return. But I know if I was in that position, I wish somebody would be able to do that for me too. So, and I know there's a lot of people that's got my back. What goes around comes around. You know what I mean? So having those relationships, and that's one of the things that I want to be remembered by is the love. And I'm actually very curious on your answer on that too, bro.
Yeah. So I think how do I want people to think of me / remember you? Just someone that's just a hard worker, right? Just someone that's a hard worker, and someone that will be there for you. Right? I think Brock again. I got to shout out Brock Vereen again. His answer was just someone that's there for you when you call at 2 a.m. I think that's the side to me right now. I think I want to do a better job at, and I actually want to talk about. So my dad always said never give up, right? In football, that was one of our team standards. But the one thing that I take the most away from youth sports, and like the greatest lesson I learned from my dad was just, we always just say love you, right, to each other. He'd say love you, we'd say love you. And I think like it's tough for me, like in the business where like I truly love my people. Like the people, like the guys sitting out there, like my team when we're fully operating, like during the day, like I love all those individuals. And it's hard to express that to people in a professional manner, right? This is not football, so I can't go up to someone and go, "Hey, I love you," right? Slap them around and say, "Hey, I love you," right? You got to be sensitive, and you got, it's a different type of environment. But I think if you can do it through actions in a business, right? And you can show your employees that you love them by giving them attention and care and all that kind of stuff. But that's how I want people to remember, just someone that was extremely hardworking, just that cares about what they're doing, that is mindful about what they're doing. I think someone that cares is ultimately someone that loves people, loves what they're doing, and is trying to do good things. So,
well, I think you're definitely you're there and definitely moving towards even greater heights.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Hopefully we can do some business in the future.
For sure.
You kind of answered it a little bit earlier, but do you have another motto that is important to you?
Let's think. Motto, bro. I would probably, we talked about never give up, but I wouldn't say a motto, but just when I think about this Bible verse, like I really got it tatted on my wrist, because like anytime I see my wrist, like I see it, and it's just like understand that where I'm at is not the end goal, and sometimes you just got to get through the storm. Sometimes people stop in the storm, they don't get all the way through, but it's like once you get through it, it's like wow, the sun, you know what I mean? So really just and like I said, it's not like a quote unquote model, but really just being patient and just trusting the vision that God has. And even though I can't see it, we operate on different, God's operating on a different frequency than I am. And sometimes our perspective here is limited when there's things that could probably be seen from other aspects. So I just want to make sure that I'm always open and I'm taking the signs no matter what, you know what I mean? Because there could be the smallest of small signs. It's crazy. Like, listen to this, right? I went to Chick-fil-A, right? And when I got to Chick-fil-A, I was like out in Hollywood somewhere. So I went to Chick-fil-A and I seen a dude, and I have like a bunch of Air Force Ones, and I put them in my trunk because I'm like, bro, like I don't even wear these anymore. Like I have a bunch. And I was like, I'll give them out to people that don't have shoes, just like when I see them. And it was crazy, bro. And when I went, and this is kind of lead me into a motto. Like now I think about it, and it's really just like, be willing to give, bro. You know what I mean? Be willing to give. And it's crazy because I went and I seen this dude with no shoes. I was like, hey, like, you need some shoes? And he was like, man, please. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, finally, I've seen someone with no shoes. So I gave the shoes. And while I was giving the shoes, like, I was just like kind of paying attention. There was a car that went to the drive-through line like a little bit before me. I'm like, damn, they got my spot. Like, I didn't care, but like in my head, like I was like, all right, whatever. And then I pull up to the window, I'm paying for my food or whatever. And they're like, yeah, man, the dude in front of you paid for it. And I was like, huh. And I'm asking, I'm like, what's he look like? I saw the car. I'm like, is it a friend? I was like, it has to be because I gave the shoes, bro. So like
that's
being willing to give and like just seeing how that circle came back within 2 minutes, I was like, that's nuts. Like that's crazy. That was a sign that I took. I said, bro, keep on giving, bro. Keep on giving. You know what I mean? I didn't even tell nobody about that until like right now. So like motto is to keep on giving, bro, even if it's your last. Give because it'll come back tenfold.
I love that. It's not I'm not touching on that, but I'm touching on what you said before about like light at the end of the tunnel and kind of how things come full circle and patience. We talked a little bit about my mom, but the passing of my mom for me was like this whole experience, right? And obviously like on an emotional level, and I miss her every single day. But for me, like, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, one of the things that like really shifted for me was like the day that she passed away, like that changed my entire life. Like that changed my trajectory, because I was just like, I'm no longer like gonna like mess up. Like I cannot make a mistake because of her. And I put a lot more pressure on myself. But the number one thing that like shifted was everything that she said, like, oh, you'll understand one day, like, oh, like you'll learn one day, like everything, it just like started happening, like falling into place. Like sense. Friends, like she's like, hey, like beware of these people, right? Sure enough, like they just went down a different path, like I didn't want to go down, right? Like rules that she had, like as silly as I thought they would be, like I started watching like other people like not follow those rules and like just like not have good things happen to them. And same thing to success, and like the way you treat others, just all these things like kind of just like started like falling into place. And like that whole moment for me was just like, of course I miss my mother and I wish she was here today, but like for me it's like if you have a positive mindset and like outlook on it, like it like shaped me for the way better. And again, I always just say, like, I'm so thankful I had her for the 16 years that I had. I feel like I had the best mom in the entire world. And like I don't dwell at all on the fact like she's not here, but in large part because like it's just like the way I'm living right now is to just like honor her. And like I feel like all these things like hit me at 16, at 18 years old, that might hit a person at 40, 50. You can only feel that if like that someone significant like that is taken away from you.
No, I feel you, man.
But it's like the same thing.
Man, shout out Lori, man. Lori Strong to the end,
absolutely.
Man.
I appreciate it.
That's a blessing, man.
I appreciate it.
I'm thankful for her, bro. There's that energy, bro. It's something about you, Alvarez, man. You guys always had it in your blood.
Well, it was her, like she was truly like, even us growing up, like her for putting on these big events and stuff, but like just everyone loved her, right? Like talk about like taking a lot into like relationships and managing those type of things, like seeing importance of that, like that was her. We had gardeners and cleaning people, like my mom was their best friend. Like there was no vendor ever came over to our house without leaving with some level of food. Like she just took care of everyone around her. And so even me, like growing up, I'm like, man, I want to create like that good environment. Right? I talk about it all the time, like around the office. Like I don't think it looks great. I'm like, man, if my mom walked in here, she'd get this place like right, like in a second. You know what I mean? But it's just like a certain way that people feel. So I love that. But I appreciate you saying that. Next question. This is the last question for the bonus question. What was your dream job growing up? Which I think I know what it was.
It's both of ours. Huh? So bro, it would definitely be being an NFL quarterback, man. I feel like that was definitely a dream, and it was it's crazy, bro, because I felt like even when I was going to college with the Canyons and like I was like on the verge of getting to that next step, I was already thinking ahead, like, would the NFL be something I wanted to do? And I literally thought, best case scenario, right? And this is thinking like outrageously, right? Let's say I won a Heisman Trophy. Would I really still want to go and play in the NFL just because of how my body felt? You know what I mean? I just think of my well-being. On that, and it's crazy, bro. So dream job was definitely, that, and then after sports, it led into sports psychology, and I said, okay, if I can't do that, then I'll try to be a sports psychologist and see what I could do with that. But like I said, then I came across this, and as soon as I found a vehicle where I could help other people and leave an impact, I said that's cool, and that's the reason why I chose sports psychology. And now I'm just finding that filling that void a different type of way with a different vehicle. And I feel like with a lot of a larger ceiling. You know what I mean?
But that's a turning point in your life, right? So that day that you made the decision to just, remove yourself from the game, what was that like? Like what was your thought process there?
Man, it's like a cold ice bath. You know what I mean? Because like you're so, I mean, and I know you're probably like this in a sense too, but like when you have your eyes set on something so great and you work so long, like 15 years, you know what I mean, to get to that point and then give it up, it was kind of like, damn, now what? You know what I mean? I had to really think to what makes me happy. And I remember, bro, like I was really sad, like thinking about what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Because there were so many options that I didn't feel like fit me from school. Oh, should I do sports medicine? I don't really want to study medicine, bro. I don't like, it's cool. I'm not saying that's like everybody had, not for me though. You know what I mean? Or if it was obviously sports psychology, I could do that, but that's not going to help me retire my family. So I had to think about my goals that I have for myself. And I said, what vehicle can I take to get to these areas? You know what I mean? And it wasn't until, I found this that I said, okay, you know what I mean? I could go hard with this. So I feel like it was definitely a root of awakening for myself. I wish I would have thought a little bit more about it. I'm not going to low paying jobs, you know what I mean? And doing the normal average kid thing, college kid thing. I was like, this just ain't for me. So I feel like I got sad with that same routine, that same paycheck, that same experience, the same place every day, like, and nothing to really scale or look forward to. So I feel like that kind of just made me sad, bro. So I really had to dig deep and think about what makes me happy and how can I operate out of a strength. You know what I mean? So many people try to, find, or even in my business, like, sometimes I'll see certain people in business try to help people operate out of their strengths. Like if I'm trying to, like, if I'm going to show up every day and put in work, that doesn't mean that might be a strength for me, but it might not be for somebody else. So you're still going to have to show up every day, but what other strength can I help you operate from? What are you good at outside of business that I can help you kind of implement in this business to help you get to where you want to? So just trying to find out my happiness, bro. Everybody's happiness is very different. So I feel like I just had to hone in on that and find a vehicle that can take me there.
But I think my favorite thing that you said early on was just the fact that, people at the end of the day, they fall into the cycle of doing the normal college thing, And I think it takes a tremendous amount of risk and courage to go a different route. But I think, again, you could speak to the audience on that in terms of like, it pays off, when you're able to find passion in something.
Yeah,
So
it was funny, bro, because I actually, I missed my intent to register at CSUN, right? And because of my sports and getting hurt, like I was already set back in the classroom with taking limited units. So I remember when I actually missed my intent to register, I remember my parents were like, yo, like you missed a semester. Like, what's going on, man? And I was just like, damn, like I know they're a little bit disappointed, but I was like, if I could take advantage of the next 6 months the way that I see for myself, I couldn't let my parents dictate what I was going to do. I couldn't let my friends dictate what I wanted to do, but I'd have that clean vision for myself. And really even, I could ask people, but it had to be people that had the results that I wanted. You know what I mean? You're going to get a lot of advice from different people, but at the end of the day, I am looking, I am watching, I'm seeing where you're at, I'm seeing what's going on and seeing what rooms people are in, you know what I mean? And seeing what I could take from it. But I didn't want the outside world to make me think I should be a certain way. You know what I mean? Because the average thing was go to school, get a degree, get a good job, retire at 65. I thought about that. I said, no way. I said, no way, bro. I got to do something deeper. So I feel like, just finding that love and that passion is what will always keep me going. And it could change tomorrow, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Beautiful. Well, but you have the flexibility to shift, right? You have the I just did one of our employees came in and he had to do a thing for school. And he was asking, what was the number one thing that you learned running a business in COVID? I said, the importance of the ability to be flexible and stay nimble. Right, the unbelievable privilege it is to be able to shift and move, and flex, and go in different directions, and not be beholden to something, right? And I think if COVID taught me one thing, it was just that it was the ability to, for me, I would say, keep a low overhead, right? Don't go out and be beholden to something don't go out and beholden to a building, because if something goes wrong and you can't pay the lease on that building for the next 10 years, you're screwed, right? And so that was kind of my answer to that. But again, it's all about, being able to be flexible.
Gotta pivot.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, those are the 15 questions. Again, I thank you so much. I want to ask the bonus question. When you hear perfect strangers, what's the first thing you think of?
Man, I think of people walking outside of this building right now that I don't know. And it's anytime I could be I'll drive on the freeway and I'm just thinking like, what is everybody doing, bro? Because there's so many strangers we come in contact with, and it's just amazing, what strangers have done for me. I've seen strangers support me more than my own friends, sometimes my own family. You know what I mean? I've seen that love and that support from people I didn't even know. And seeing how they were moving like that, it just left me open to always talking to a stranger, always willing to spark a conversation. It could be something small, might lead to somewhere else. There was a dude I was in Venice Beach, right? I just parked my car in the studio, like a convertible Camaro or whatever. And I was just like, grabbed my backpack out the bag and I was like, oh, what's going on, bro? How you doing? And he's like, man, good. Like, how's your day going? I was like, man, blessed, bro. Just ready to enjoy the day. And he's like, you from out here? And I was like, yeah, man, what's going on? Where are you from? And he's like, oh, from Pittsburgh. And I was like, oh, like my dad's from Pittsburgh. I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I work with a lot of, I have a studio that I own. So a lot of artists come in and out, and I was like, I actually work with a lot of artists, because a lot of people want to pursue their dreams, but they're busy working or finding a stream of income where they can't really focus on that. So I was like, yo, bro, like, I actually work with a lot of artists. And he's like, well, what do you do? I'm like, I help people invest and get educated on a certain space. And just seeing how that friendship even was starting to take a turn, like he's not in my business, but how we're able to leverage each other in certain ways, bro. It's a perfect strangers are all over the place, and you got to be willing to go out. Like, you're somebody that came into my life. You're a stranger before, and here we are, what, 15, 20 years later, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy, and being here is a blessing. So I think of all the friends that maybe we have as best friends now, like, we're all strangers once, so it's a perfect stranger all over the place, man.
100%. Well, that's Blake Green. I'm even more impressed than I was before you got here, man. A special person, someone that I look up to. I'm super motivated and encouraged by what you're doing. I'm excited to do more with you, hopefully in the business space in the near future here. I appreciate you taking the time earlier to kind of educate me. And again, I think, I'll just say, I'm a skeptic on that kind of stuff, right? And I don't, because there's a lot of unknowns. And I was asking questions. I think everything that you said, you're walking the walk, right? Because I just kind of went through. I almost was testing you over there, right? But I appreciate your time to be humble, to come out here, help me out, come onto the podcast. I'm here for you, right? Again, it's a relationship. I haven't seen you in 10, 15 years, but you know, I love you as a person. I love your family, and I'm definitely here and I have your back.
And I got to definitely say a couple of things.
Yeah.
And to everybody watching, you know, this dude has been like this since a little guy, man. And you know, there's not a day that goes by, like I said, where I don't see that picture, bro.
Funny.
And like, I really do think about the times that, you know, not just we had, but the team had, your dad, your mom, like everybody, bro. And it's you know, not a day that goes by and I see that picture, and it, you know, there's a picture and I showed you, like, we're all praying. You know what I mean? I'm holding your dad's hand, we're praying. There's a picture of us being goofy on there. We're sitting, whatever. And bro, I'm thankful, and seeing what you've grown into is nothing short of a surprise. And knowing where you're going is also nothing short of a surprise, man. So the Alvarez name definitely runs deep in my family, and we definitely give a lot of gratitude to you guys, man.
I appreciate it. Well, again, this is episode 15 of the Perfect Strangers podcast. Check us out. Blake Green, a brother to me and someone that I love very much. So thank you again for coming out. That's it. Thank you.